That brings us to your weekly capsule of health information. We like to call it your healthy dose as we talk about healthy holiday eating. It's brought to you by Hannibal Regional Hospital and Hannibal Regional Medical Group. Joining us here in Studio H are Megan Linden and Katie Foster, dietitians. All right, heads up, folks. No thirds on eggnog this morning. You've had enough last night. Thanks, ladies, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Holiday eating. You know, we're invited to Aunt Bee's dinner, on Christmas Eve and everything. And before that, we've got the office party. We got the party with the neighbors next door. Oh, yeah. Fred down the street invited me to another party get-together. All this stuff within a short amount of time. And no wonder we make those New Year's resolutions.
That's right. And a lot of the articles we read with this busy time of the year say people gain 6 to 7 pounds over the next month or so. But really, the true statistics show it's closer to only about 1 pound. So not to scare you off too much.
Oh, it's only 1 pound.
That's still something we want to avoid if we can.
Okay. All right. So how do we avoid that?
Well, timing is a big thing. So we want to focus on timing. And we want to make sure that we give ourselves enough time between our meals, but then not go too long without eating. So a kind of a rule of thumb is allow yourself at least 2.5 hours between each meal, but don't go more than 4 without eating. And that's going to be important so that you don't, get to those holiday meals or gatherings and be completely so hungry that you overeat and cannot choose sensibly then.
No gorging.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. All right. And particularly heavy, several heavy meals a day. Is it better to just have like several light or maybe 4 or 5 light meals?
Yes. Yep. So like I said, having that spacing between meals is important because you're allowing your stomach to have more frequent meals so that you're not just starving when you do go to those holiday meals. So, Like I said, the 2.5 to 4 hours between each meal and snack is going to be good.
Okay. Making choices. Sometimes when we attend carry-ins, sometimes the choice isn't like all that good.
Right. You don't always have the best options available to you. So, making your own dish that that you can count on being a little bit lighter option for you, that you can kind of go to that first and fill up a little bit on that, and then maybe towards the end go towards the more heavier options so that you're not, again, quite as full when you're picking at those heavier options.
Okay. And then going back perhaps for more, just wait a little bit.
You got it.
Let that settle down for a second, and maybe you're not so hungry after a while.
That's right. And even if you can designate a specific time where you actually sit down with your plate of food that you've kind of planned out a little bit so that you recognize that you've had your meal instead of grazing throughout the whole party. You can kind of cut some calories that way too.
Yeah, all right. So no big plate full of little Smokies. That's not such a good thing. Drinking water, I hear more and more about this instead of reaching for, that spirit, if you will. Drink some water alternately with that, perhaps.
Sure. So those adult beverages and the holiday coffee drinks, all of those that we're filling up on around this time of year, they are going to add up in the calories. And a lot of times, too, we might actually just be thirsty when we think we're hungry. So drinking a tall glass of water, that might curb that hunger that we think we're feeling. That might actually just be thirst.
Keeping that tummy full of water instead of food.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like you said before, going back 4 seconds, maybe sit there a few minutes and get a glass of water and kind of allow your body to register that you have ate and you're not hungry anymore.
That gives you a chance to socialize too.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
That should be the focus.
Which reminds me something else too. This is, I keep hearing kind of the yays and nays on this, standing up and sitting down while you're eating. Because a lot of parties and get-togethers, you're standing up at that plate, and then, oops, I dropped something on the floor. No, they say, oh, let the dog get it. But then maybe sometimes they're a little more formal sit down. So, advice.
So it's important to, like she mentioned briefly, when you do have that buffet style right in front of you, be sure to get a plate, fill it, and go with that plate and sit down and actually eat sitting down rather than just standing up. We tend to just mingle around the buffet table and then we're just choosing bites at a time. And after an hour, you have no idea how many bites you've taken here and there. Whereas if you would have just get a plate and go sit down, you actually have an idea of more of what you're eating. And it's more of a eating to satisfy your hunger versus just sitting or standing around the table and eating as we socialize.
Okay. The other key is, too, as we're going to all these parties and trying to keep everybody happy, if we got any kind of free time, do some exercise.
That's right. And hopefully we all have a little bit of time off around the holidays. Granted, a lot of that time is going to be spent at the holiday parties, running around with the last minute errands, but the goal is to get 150 minutes of physical activity in a week. So if that's not something that we're getting right now, that could be a goal to work towards. And that physical activity doesn't have to be strictly going out and running or walking. Even doing sweeping or mopping around the house, that counts as well.
Taking the stairs instead of the elevator.
That's right. Parking a little bit further away from the entrance to the store. Just the small things that add up.
Yep. And it does all add up, too. Just put on a pedometer, and you'll see it add up right there.
That's right.
And also just kind of getting out and walking, even just walking around the block, if you haven't done it, after a while. Something like that. Enjoy the holiday lights.
And you can make it a family event, too. Force the kids to get out and join you on that walk. And
Sure. Well,
spend a little time with the family.
We don't have ice and snow right now, so there's no excuse.
Yeah,
Take advantage.
It hasn't been too bad so far this year.
Exactly. All right. Eggnog, fruitcake, pies, all those wonderful things. All right. Everything's okay in moderation.
That's
but wow,
right.
you look at the ingredient label of eggnog. Wow. It's like, okay, I've already had my fat content for the day right there.
And just a small glass of
And
it,
just
too.
a small glass. And even fruitcake. I mean, it is dense with all this stuff in it. And it's like, no wonder we get kind of caught up at this time of year.
Well, Megan and I actually just did a taste testing at the hospital where we made a light version of eggnog, and it will actually be posted on our blog here next week. It's Easy on Your Waist Eggnog, as we titled it. And then we also have a lightened up pumpkin latte. And they were both actually a pretty big success there at the hospital, giving out taste.
Oh, so you use the hospital as taste test victims first.
You got it.
Okay.
They always
Okay.
like what
Now,
we
wait
make.
I've got a staff or patients.
All the above.
All of the
Whoever's
above.
out in the cafe wandering around.
Usually patients' families,
Yeah,
but
patient family, yeah.
yeah.
You say, excuse me, but would you mind trying this for me and letting me know what you think?
Yeah.
You really do
Something
that?
like that.
Who says no to free food?
That is awesome. All right, I do that to my family all the time, and they don't mind. Well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But that is what is. Do you have a blog that is available
Yep.
everywhere? Do you mind giving the address?
I always get it wrong, Megan.
It's hannibalhealth.org.
Okay,
Yes.
and it's right there on the landing page.
Yeah, there'll be a section for the blog that you can
I'm
click
new
on
to
there.
it, so
It's the Dietitian Girls or something like that.
It'll just say general blog, and then you can find it through that link.
Just general blog. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, they got to get you something special title for that. All right. Any other advice that you can give us before we start munching away?
Just remember to still enjoy it. Don't get too stressed out over trying to watch that waistline. Like you said, everything in moderation is really what it falls back to.
And I think going in with a calm attitude, we tend to go to these parties and get so excited because all of our favorites are there.
Yeah.
Just go in with calm and have a sensible plate.
Don't expect everything.
Yeah.
And just enjoy what you get in return.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Don't be disappointed. And it's okay to say no. Don't get overbooked during the holiday
That's
season.
right. And
That's a
don't
good one.
feel bad about offending someone if you don't feel like eating something they've prepared either. You can't worry about making everyone happy.
I'm sorry, I don't get into lamb's tongue, but maybe next year. Lamb's
Maybe
tongue
next
pate. Yeah. All right.
No, thank you.
Good advice. All right, so it's hannibalhealth.org is the website, so we can check out some of your recipes on the blog.
Absolutely.
All right,
And some
excellent.
holiday tips and whatnot. So
Okay, great. Ladies, thank you.
Thank you.
That's some wonderful advice there. Our Healthy Dose guests, Megan Linden and Katie Foster, dietitians at Hannibal Regional Hospital. And check out their blog, hannibalhealth.org. Hannibal Regional Hospital and Hannibal Regional Medical Group bring you Healthy Dose each and every week.